Well, what's going on, guys? This is Carl with the RacerRed channel, and today I'm enjoying myself a little bit of freedom. Yep. Freedom means different things to different people. There's a lot of things that we enjoy out here in the country that I think a lot of the people in the city don't really get to experience. And one of those is shooting guns, another one is off-roading, freedom of locomotion. And locomotion is basically the right to travel across the United States in whatever way you choose. These leather gloves help a lot. This was in there pretty tight. Social media has become a big way that we communicate, and even though it's controlled by big companies, I think that those big companies should be treated in the same way the government is treated in regards to your freedom of speech. I think you should be able to say pretty much whatever you want. The right to bear arms is a non-negotiable. It should be a non-negotiable for everybody. If you don't like something that shoots too fast or shoots too long or has too big of a magazine, move to a different country. But in this one, we like our freedom. Well, I think we've gotten to the point where when we see something that inconveniences us, we think it's our freedom not to be inconvenienced. And I think this is a real unfortunate thing about modern society, is that we've had it so good for so long that after a while we get soft. And it doesn't take somebody directly harming us or being aggressive to us directly anymore. It takes somebody just wanting to put on a fireworks show, and we use our dogs as an excuse to say, oh, they shouldn't be able to do that. You know, I think that we keep ourselves in check and make sure that we don't think that our freedom stops. You know, somebody inconveniences us, and so we can have a 12 gauge high capacity semi-automatic. Cycles perfectly. I love this gun. Now, if you ever want to know who the bad guys are, just look at who's taking guns away. It's a pretty telltale sign that those are the bad guys. Throughout history, the bad guys have always disarmed their citizens. The Second Amendment in the United States is not for hunting or shooting for fun, but for protecting yourself against tyranny. And so that is why you're supposed to have combat rifles. Don't be afraid to call them a combat rifle or a assault rifle, because that's really what they are. Although originally they were called an Armalite rifle, but it's neither here nor there. They're for combat assault. Now this, in California, would be illegal. Very, very illegal. And for what reason? I mean, it's silly. It's just because it has a high capacity magazine. Big P226 stainless elite. One of my favorite things about the MT9, oil filter, oil plug, easy peasy. Cleaned up my motorcycle a little bit. It was covered in mud. It's hard to clean things in the wintertime sometimes. All the water is frozen, everything's muddy. Now, a lot of people think that freedom is also the ability to do what you want with your body, which I can agree with that 100%. what happens when another human is involved? I'm not a girl, so apparently I can't comment on that, but there's a full human body inside of your body. That means you're murdering another human. That's not a right. You can't have the right to murder people. Right now, we still have a good amount of freedom. Just driving this car, all of my motorcycles right now, wouldn't be possible. Unnecessary taxation is a big one to talk about because that includes unnecessary insurance, unnecessary registration, unnecessary tax of any kind, whether that's licenses or tags or whatever it is. There's a lot of states that it's so expensive to own a vehicle that you can't own more than one or two because it just gets way too costly. Certainly it is like that in other countries like England, and very expensive to own a vehicle. Gas prices are crazy because they put so many taxes in that, and registering a vehicle is expensive. Everything is unreasonably taxed. And so that's another thing in the United States that is a freedom, is you have the ability to take home your entire paycheck without it being taxed unreasonably. But I can say that they had a war over a 3% tax, less than 3% tax, and when you count all of the different taxes that we have currently, it's over 50%. Unfortunately, we have accepted it, and one of the reasons they have gotten away with this is because they actually take it before you see it. They take it from your income before you ever get your paycheck. Don't be one of those people that goes and votes just because something feels right. Look, the truth does not always feel good, and if you're just going off of how you feel and, well, if it doesn't feel good, it's from the devil type of thing, then you are going the way of the devil, because the truth doesn't always feel good. You have to acknowledge that, and you have to go towards the truth, because eventually it will set you free. There's a little story about one time when I saw somebody's mindset on freedom completely change. I had a girlfriend at the time. Her grandparents lived up in the mountain. They enjoyed all kinds of outdoor activities, including four-wheeling and side-by-side driving, and I was up there fairly often. One day, a petition came to their door about a motocross track. Somebody had wanted to build about 2 miles away from their house. Right away, I saw the mentality of this conservative couple change from freedom-loving, gun-shooting, everything else to, well, we don't want to hear those motorcycles off in the distance. People are willing to steal other people's freedom based off of a slight inconvenience. We all have to accept each other as annoyances. That's just part of being a human. We are going to be annoying. I'm gonna annoy you, you're gonna annoy me. Everything we do can be annoying. But unless you come at me with something that is extremely dangerous and intentionally dangerous, it's your right to do whatever you want. One of my neighbors right now could build a motocross track in their backyard, ride all day long until 10 p.m. and stop from 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. and I'd be totally happy. I don't care. You can do whatever you want to do. This is America. They don't care until it comes for them. So as a motorcycle rider, I see this all the time. I see hunters coming after us. I see hikers coming after us. I see mountain bikers coming after us. It's sad. I see ranchers coming after us. What's so sad about this is that I know that if we don't unite, we will lose. And they're coming after the ranchers next. They're coming after the mountain bikers for sure. The hikers will be one of the last. They will come after you as well. Boaters, fishermen, hunters, they'll come after your 2A rides. Do we really care if it doesn't affect us? So are we fighting for everybody, or are we just fighting for ourselves and letting everybody else suffer? In fact, a lot of times we're working against other people. We're working against other forms of freedom other than ours. That's unfortunate. And it's like the Blue Ribbon Coalition had talked about. A lot of what affects the dirt bike world affects every person who owns an RV. Once these dirt bike trails go away, the dispersed camping is also going to go away. You're not going to be able to camp just wherever you want. You're going to have to pay to these paid sites to camp. The first ever 4th of July, they celebrated by shooting their guns up in the air. Bullets came raining down on all the towns. Lots of people died unintentionally from this. And yet they continued to do it year after year, because freedom, they knew, they understood, is inherently dangerous. They were all gun-toting, freedom-loving people, and they were not unintelligent. You can definitely tell that by reading journals. They were extremely intelligent people, and they were extremely good people for the most part. And that's something that has been lost to Hollywood these days. That level of freedom is what I would love to see again, where people can shoot their guns up in the air in celebration and be totally fine and not get thrown in jail. So I would ask you, what is your form of liberty that you prefer? Is it going out and using an RV, riding a four-wheeler, fishing out of a boat? Maybe it's shooting guns, hunting. Maybe it's dirt biking. Maybe you enjoy skydiving or flying a plane, perhaps. Maybe it's owning a classic car or a Class C vehicle of some sort. All of these are freedoms. And if you don't do any of those, if you are of the mentality that other people shouldn't be allowed to do any of those things on that list, that gets a little bit scary. And that's what's scary about all of these cities having a lot of say in American culture, because the city does not represent American culture. Catch you on the next one. Peace.
His name is RacerRed. If he wasn't riding, he'd be in bed. He naps during the day. He rides his love in garage bays. Oh, he rides all night, full throttle all the time. Oh, he was born to ride. Red Racer, like, comment, and subscribe.